You know, honey, the people we have met as we have traveled around the world, not only have they been fantastic, but they've changed the way we travel.
Yeah, it's amazing that we've been traveling for 5 years, and some of the things that we did when we first started traveling were completely different than the way we travel now. And a lot of it has to do with all the people that we've met along the way.
Yeah, and that was one of your biggest fears before we left. We wouldn't have any friends, we'd be completely isolated, we'd be lonely, and we'd just be staring at each other all day long throughout our nomad life. And wow, has that been a myth that we have busted?
Yeah, it was really Facebook and meetups that really changed the way
Yeah.
we experienced our travel
Yeah,
lifestyle.
love Facebook or hate Facebook. We do both. It certainly has been a way that a tool that we've used to build connections virtually on Facebook that have actually become real life connections, where we've met real people doing real things, traveling real world, real life, nomad life. And I think the most amazing thing we've discovered from all these people is there's no right way to nomad. Everybody does things completely different. We've got solo travelers, couple travelers, married travelers, unmarried travelers, older people, young people who are retired, old people who are working. So it's just a huge combination of different types of nomads, and getting to know all these people has really changed our idea of what a nomad life is.
Yeah, I mean, even the concept of full-time travel, I mean, that's what we talk about all the time. We sold everything that we own. We've been traveling full-time for the last 5 years. We don't have a house, we don't have a car, but there's a lot of full-time travelers that do have a home base. It's someplace that they go back to regularly, that they have their stuff, if you will. It may be with their kids, or it may be, a little separate apartment, or maybe, an RV or something like that. But the way we define what is a full-time traveler isn't even the way that I would have defined it a few years ago.
Yeah, it's really about choice. I mean, when we left, I thought it was this is how you do it, and this is how we're going to tell people to do it. And we've been wrong. We've been wrong for 5 years.
It has been great. And so what we want to do is shift gears a little bit here, because not only do we have amazing stories about our full-time travel community, but there might be a book involved.
There is. So a couple years, I released a book called Wanderlust Wisdom. It's now out in its second edition, and we talked to 25 couples or individuals before. Now we've got 31 in this particular book. And what I love about it is these aren't just strangers. These are people we know, we love, we care for, we know their stories, or we may not have met some of them yet, but we will sometime in the future. And in this edition, we update the stories from when the people originally left. So what is really super funny, we were just watching this video of a couple who they're just about to launch, and they have all these brand new shiny things and they've done all this research and did all this reviews, and they've put all their stuff together, and they've got their brand new backpack that they're heading out with all these new things, which is great. We did that too. But it'll be interesting to see a couple of years from now how all that stuff has changed. And that's the
Yeah,
same thing that's happened with the
exactly.
stories in this book.
Yeah, the people that you meet really affect the change in the way we think about travel. It's also changed us a little bit. Like, for example, just last week we had a dinner party. We had a Mexican fiesta. We invited our friends over. Whoa, full-time travelers throw dinner parties. And you know what? We didn't have dinner parties before we started traveling
No,
full-time.
no, which is so funny. Matter of fact, when we were having our dinner party last week, and we told our new friends that we never had dinner parties in Denver, and they're like, "What do you guys are like dinner party people? Like, how did you not have dinner parties in Denver?" We just never did. It just wasn't how we did social life. And now we have the annual Fiesta de Amor party, where we find all the ingredients for Mexican food, which is a treasure hunt in itself around the world. And we invite everybody over, and we cook Mexican food, and we have just a wonderful time, just getting to know each other and having a dinner party.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing that I wanted to throw out there is just some of the people that we've met just through this experience. I was thinking about Kate and Dave.
Oh yeah, Kate and Dave. So Kate and Dave, wonderful couple. We actually bonded. Kate's actually an author. She writes books also in the nomad life space, and she does a lot of fiction or memoir fiction. And we met kind of through writing, but then we started sharing notes, and we found out we had a lot of the same networks and the same sort of background on travel and house sitting. And I invited her to be in the book, and then I don't remember if I invited her to be in the book or we met her first. I don't remember which happened, but anyway, when we finally did meet, they had invited, they were basically strangers in real life, and they invited us to do a 4-hour road trip in Portugal. And I thought, oh my God, what if we don't like them? That's a long road trip.
Well, we were going on a 4-hour trip to get to Lisbon to get on a 26-day cruise together. So we were going to spend a lot of time together, and it was an amazing experience to meet them and become some of our closest friends. And we saw them again in Mexico, and we're going to see them again in Mexico again.
No, in Marrakesh. In Mexico and again in Marrakesh. Right. Anyway, we asked them to put an update in the to write in the book, and then there's an update of them and how their life has changed since they first launched, which are first talked about it in our book in the first edition. And what's also nice is Kate is going to make a surprise interview with us in the next video. So you'll actually get to meet Kate in person. So hang on for that. There's so many stories in the book. I was also thinking about Heidi and Chuck. So Heidi and Chuck, they were first launching when we asked them in the first edition to write, and in their update, they've been at it for about 2.5 years. And one of the things I love about their story is Chuck and his daughter have an annual tradition of going to the Red Sox games. And he was so concerned about full-time travel and not being able to get back to opening day. They go to opening day, and he tells his story about getting to opening day, which is such an ongoing theme for nomad life of how do you maintain those connections with your family and keep your traditions alive. And a lot of people talk about that in the Wanderlust book. So if you're wondering how you will keep Christmas alive, or how you will, get together and have your annual cracking of the keg, or whatever you do together with your family, there's lots of people talking about those things in the book.
And there's absolutely a common theme throughout our travel life in talking to people about what was your life back before you started traveling, and how do you maintain those connections, and especially with close family, because everybody seems to have there's something that's compelling and that draws them back, that brings them back to their previous life, but it's changed, it's different, it's not the same. We've looked at how we see our family more now than we did when we lived in Denver. Because when we lived in Denver, they're all spread out all over the United States and Canada. And it's like, you say, yeah, well, when we get around to it, we'll catch up with you. Now it's a routine.
Right.
Every year we make it a point to visit them and spend time with them. And also on a monthly basis, at least, we're doing video chats, and we're making sure that we stay in touch. So,
and I talk about that in my newsletter about 2 weeks ago. We actually looked at the data of how many times we'd been with our family before we launched for Nomad Life, and then how many days we've been with them after we've launched. The data is very compelling for how much you'll see your family during Nomad Life. So anyway, take a look at the newsletter if you haven't seen that.
Exactly. This book is not also just about stories of people and what they're doing and where they're going and how they got to where they are. There's more. Yeah.
So we also have a Nomad playbook, just like in, this is the third book in our series, the Nomad Life series, where every single book has tips and tricks in it. It continues in this Wanderlust book 2, where we pulled together all of the tips and tricks from all the other nomads who have talked, and their suggestions for how to make your nomad life better, from accommodations to banking to budget and mail and medical care and volunteering, all those topics that are part of your life probably before you leave, and how those change when you become a nomad life on the road as a Wanderluster. So if you need some tips and more tips, or you want to hear from other people talking about how they did it, Wanderlust Wisdom is the book to find those tips in.
We're going to be doing another video where we're going to be digging into this even deeper. We do want to make sure that you do have an opportunity to get your copy now. We're going to put a link below so that you can pre-order your copy of the newly revised Wanderlust Wisdom and the other books that are in the Chris's series.
2 carry-ons and a plan if you're just launching. Nomad Life if you're wondering what it's like to live the life from mine and Steve's point of view, and then of course Wanderlust Wisdom, which is the stories of 31 other people and their lifestyle. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being big members of our community. If we haven't met you, let us know how we're going to meet you. Put something in the comments about where you are or where you're going, and we'll see if we can figure out how to meet you. And I think in 2 videos or so from now, we're actually talking about our itinerary for 2026 into 2027. So take a look at that. And if we are going to cross over, let us know, because we would love to grab a cuppa with you, or go for a hike, or anything else. We'll see you then. Bye.